Actually wrong to say that most New Testament scholars think that the Gospels are written by people that we know who wrote these Gospels. It's factually wrong. Most New Testament scholars say we don't know that they in fact are anonymous writers. They certainly were not the disciples of Jesus. That is by far the widest opinion. Here's something worth thinking about. The Gospels are written in highly literate Greek. They're written in highly literate Greek by educated Greek-speaking Christians living 40, 50, or 60 years later. They weren't eyewitnesses. Where does Mark claim to be based on Peter's testimony? He doesn't. Where does Matthew say that he's basing his Sermon on the Mount on an eyewitness? He doesn't. These are people who have heard stories about Jesus. They're living outside of Palestine. They don't speak Aramaic. They're Greek-speaking people living somewhere else. We don't even know where. Rome, Antioch, Ephesus, we don't know. How do they get their stories? Well, how does anybody get the stories in Ephesus about things that happened in Palestine? They've heard stories that have been circulating around the Roman world until they come to them. They're writing stories that they heard in Greek, not in Aramaic. 40, 50, 60 years later, of course there are differences in the Gospels. Think about who wrote these things.